6,000 people have been displaced or affected by this issue. And so this morning, we're going to focus heavily on these affected areas. My colleagues are in the Volta region today, Nashako and Roland Walker, and they'll be bringing us first-hand information on what exactly it is they find in some of these areas. And so we'll bring you those updates as we move along. But as this conversation goes on, a few donations have been made as well. Yesterday, we're told that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, also made a donation of 160,000 Ghana cedis to some displaced citizens. And we know about 8 districts have been affected, mostly in the Volta region. We have parts of the eastern region and also parts of the Greater Accra region also submerged by the spillage. And yesterday he made that donation when he visited some of these affected communities in the Volta region. And well, beyond that, we've also heard from the Christian Council. Yesterday I saw a post where they were being thanked by the MP for North Tongue, Honorable Sam Okudzeto-Ablakwa, for making a donation to some of the affected victims as well. A few other, people have made donations, but most importantly, beyond just making donations, do you think that we're at a point where we should declare a state of emergency? Former President John Dramani Mahama has asked for the declaration of a state of emergency. He posted this on his Facebook page yesterday. Let's quickly take a look at what he said. And he said that it is clear that the scope and scale of the flooding of communities along the Volta region is bigger than our crippled economy can bear. He continues to say that he recommends the government to declare a state of emergency in the affected areas and request relief assistance from our bilateral and multilateral partners immediately. This is what former President John Dramani Mahama has said. But what does the Constitution say about when it is ripe to declare a state of emergency? So if you look at the 1992 Constitution, Article 31(1), it says that the President may, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by proclamation published in the Gazette, declare that a state of emergency exists in Ghana or in any other part of Ghana for the purposes of the provisions of this Constitution. And it continues to say that notwithstanding, that's Article 31(2), notwithstanding any other provision of this article where a proclamation is published under Clause 1 of this article, the President shall place immediately before Parliament the facts and circumstances leading to the declaration of the state of emergency. And so should this be the way forward for government at this point? I've heard some people, some security analysts as well, who have said that maybe it should be declared as a regional emergency and not a state of emergency necessarily, because it is certain regions that have been affected. But let's take a look at this piece detailing why there could be a need for the declaration of a state of emergency. Duke Opoku-Mensah has this for us.
What does it mean for a state of emergency to be declared? What is its essence? Where does it find shape and form in our laws? And what will be the practical effect of such a declaration? A state of emergency essentially gives the president, the executive, and the leaders of the country far-reaching powers to be able to sidestep the laws to do things that they wouldn't have done under ordinary circumstances. So it gives the president, his ministers, and the leadership, the executive of the country, powers to sidestep due process. An elaborate procedure is made available in the Constitution in Articles 31 and 32 of the 1992 Constitution. And it says that in accordance and with advice of the Council of State, the president can issue a proclamation declaring a state of emergency. Now that is functional, or that functions for 7 days. Now within those 7 days, a set of facts and reasons behind why the president has declared that state of emergency must be presented to Parliament. And Parliament must within 72 hours endorse that proclamation or revoke it. When they endorse it, it will be in effect for 3 months, after which it will be reviewed. So essentially, these are the laws governing the declaration of a state of emergency in a country. In recent history, what comes to memory is what was done during the Dagbon crisis in the early 2000s, when the Yana Yakubu Andani, after a fracas in the Gbewa Palace in Yendi, lost his life, and there was some unrest in that area. President Kufuor then declared a state of emergency, which included a curfew and deployment of security force and others. In this instance, when a state of emergency is declared, what will happen to the residents of Mepe, Sogakope, and other places that have been affected by the spillage of water from the Akosombo and Pond dams? For instance, there can be the deployment of military to the place to help them. So as if without the declaration of a state of emergency, the military cannot be deployed there. But with the state of emergency, government can spend more without recourse to parliament. Later on, that can be approved. Government can deploy more forces. Government can rechannel resources meant for other things into that area. And this state of emergency can be declared in a matter of a natural disaster or something, or public health emergency, or something that the country or the president or the executive acting in concert with the Council of State believes requires urgent national attention and therefore requires the suspension of certain laws to bring the might of the state in full force to resolve such an issue.
And that is Diko Poku-Mensah detailing why there could be a declaration of a state of emergency. Just some updates as well. So farmers would receive some $40 million allocation from the Agric Ministry. And this is a World Bank funding where they're taking some $40 million from to support some of these farmers who have been affected by the floods and, of course, the spillage. So according to the Minister for Agric, the funds will help restore the livelihood of farmers who are worst hit. He was speaking at the launch of the Youth in Agric initiative under the job module of the Youth Employment Agencies. And he says, so our dear friends, brothers and family on the Volta and Eastern region stretch of the Akosombo Dam's path, we have all witnessed the devastation as a result of the necessary action by the VRA to save the Akosombo Dam. As a result, several farmers have been affected and a lot of them have had their crops completely wiped out. I have directed that due to this emergency, $40 million of the World Bank funded Food Systems Resilience Program be restructured to restore farmers whose farms have been wiped out due to the necessary action. Again, states that due to the necessary action taken by the VRA to save us all. Here are three foundations. We're also receiving donations from all our viewers and well-wishers, and eventually we'll send them to the Volta region to donate to the affected communities and people involved as well. But let's cross over now to Mepe in the Volta region, where Roland Walker and Na Ashoko are on standby to ascertain the severity of the flooding. Okay, and shortly we'll cross over to them in the Volta region so they can give us an update on this matter. But what do you make about this situation? You can join us via social media. We're streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana, and also you can watch us on DSTV channel 279. Would love to hear from you. The hashtag is TV3 New Day. Do you think that a state of emergency should be declared at this point? Security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman doesn't think the president is going to go ahead and declare it, by the way. And he gives his reasons why. He says that it will take a lot, just like Diko Poku-Mensah, to declare a state of emergency. You don't just get up and declare. And of course, when we read the Constitution, you understood exactly what the president needed to do in order to reach that point. But he says he won't even do a regional state of emergency because it entails a lot. He used Executive Instrument 61 during COVID and then Act 1012 of 2020 to declare a health emergency. And even that, I thought, was problematic. Well, that's from Dr. Ishmael Norman, because he thought that even during COVID, there should have been a declaration of a state of emergency. That didn't happen. But let's cross over now to the phone line. Sani from Wale Wale is on the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah, the same to you.
All right. What do you think? Should there be a state of emergency declared by the president?
No, I don't think so. You see, Ghana, we have a very serious problem. Because this whole thing is a calculated attempt to squander money, just to make people spend money anyhow. Because we could have avoided this thing. This water has not started gathering today. It has started about 4 or 5 months ago. And a state agency like the VRA should have been in the know. They should have collaborated, with the people who are able to focus about these things. Okay, and then started spilling the water by bit. But you just waited and everything is gathered. Then all of a sudden you open it and people have lost their properties. They have lost their buildings, their fish farm and all that. And then now you are saying what? They should declare a state of emergency so that people, the government can just say that we're going to spend this without recourse to parliamentary approval and all that. And these monies will end up in the pockets of, those people who have caused this mess. You understand? So it's not the best at all. I don't think they should, declare any state of emergency. And nobody should recommend anybody for giving money. They're not saying that, Vice President is giving how much, and then John Mahama is giving how much, President Akufo-Addo is giving how much, and they're going to use $14 million. Which people are going to benefit this money?
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sani, for your contribution. And he doesn't think that we should go ahead and declare state of emergency. Let us know on social media what you make about this as well. But we'll cross over now to Roland and Na to give us some updates from Mepe in the Volta region.
Hello, TV3.
Okay. Good
morning.
Okay. Do we have a call on the line as well? All right, please hold on with your phone calls. We are crossing over again to Mepe in the Volta region. Let's hear from Na and Roland. We'll come back and give you some time to speak to us. Okay. Well, maybe we should we pick a phone call at this point while we wait for them if they are not ready? I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are trying to reach us to let us know what they make of this situation as well. But in the meantime, we're reminding you that 3 Foundation is mobilizing support and food items, clothing, other essentials to support our brothers and sisters in the Volta region who've been affected by the spillage. And we need them. We need items such as food, clothing, school books, medicine, building materials, etc., to ease the situation. On your screen right now, these are live pictures from our team on the ground this morning. And like I mentioned earlier, we will cross over to them shortly. I believe Roland is ready now. Let's cross over to Roland.
Over a week ago of this grave, if not big, disaster, and that's why we're here, TV3 New Day, live in the North Tongue constituency. And now, so far, we have the aerial shot that's indicating inundated waters of the various communities.
Yes, as you can see, it's one thing to see it on television, and it's an entirely different thing to see it live. A lot of houses, homes, businesses, restaurants, schools, hospitals have been completely submerged underwater. And being on the water now, we're currently next to something that I believe was a drinking spot. But now more than half of it is underwater. Also on the water now, I cannot begin to describe the stench, the smell of the water. And the water is totally black. You cannot see the inside of it. It's terrible. And since yesterday when we came, we went into the town, we walked around, and we spoke to some of the people in the community. I particularly spoke to a young boy, a 12-year-old boy, Della, who told me that his school has been completely submerged, and he and his classmates have since not been able to go to school. It has totally changed their way of life. It has affected them very terribly, and they have not, well, I should say I have not in my entire life seen a flood like this, of this magnitude. And the truth is, this is not the first time these areas have been flooded, but this is the first time we're seeing a flood of this magnitude here in Mepe and its surrounding communities. So this morning, we're going to bring you a live coverage of, more than anything, how these devastating floods have affected the way of life of the people, a real-time account of the relief and support that they are receiving. We're going to cross over at some point to the shelter, the secondary school, where a lot of the people have taken cover this morning.
Well, and as you will see on your screens, we have aerial shots that comprehensively have been taken of the various communities within the North Tongue enclave, including Mefe, and you find that residential homes as well as businesses are all in the floodwaters. Importantly, we have to situate that just like the way we're seated in a canoe, that has become the means of transport. Ideally, just a week or two ago, if you came here, you would find that this was just an intersection of the main road where you can walk on foot and then go to any neighbor or somebody else. And that is the difficulty that many of these residents will have to contend with. Yes. We do know that thousands of people have been affected by this. Yes. What is needed is for you also to donate your support. And Media General, through 3 Foundation, we have officially, as you know now, launched our own relief fund as a campaign to make sure that all of us contribute to this big disaster, a disaster of disastrous magnitude. And all of us need to make sure that you want to apprise people of the short codes as well as
we're asking you to support, and the number that you can send your donations to is 05974331110. Or you can basically or simply send it to MTN merchant code 120494. 120494. And when we say no amount is too small, we mean it. Talking to the people yesterday, they talked about how basically the shops that they used to go to even buy gari and sugar have all been submerged, and they are all one people in this community. So even though you see that when you go to higher ground, so on this side, it appears relatively dry and life is going on as usual or normal, everyone on this side is affected. And because they are one people and one family, they are all affected by this. It's devastating. And so please do send your support to no amount is too small.
Yes, certainly. And Media General 3 Foundation are making this possible. And as you already know, we have the merchant number as well as the mobile account for you to send through your donations. Or you can walk through the premises of Media General just around close to the Jubilee House, or what we call the Presidential Drive, and then make your walk-in donations. But we already have some big regular watchers of the show making their contributions to this big support that is needed for those who have been affected. Thousands of victims following the Akosobo Dam spillage. Chairman Godwin Tamaklo of the Rate Group came in with his workers the whole of yesterday. They were with the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, who possibly will be joining us within the course of our interaction. And with the Rate Group, they were able to donate a number of assorted items as well as food packs to be donated to many of the communities. Indeed, we've had First Kai, a number of them all making their presence felt in the constituency.
And I should tell you, Roland, last night when we came here, around 9 p.m., we saw that there were people crossing over from this side to the other side, and it was pitch black. And I mean, it was not safe, because a lot of these people do not have life jackets or Wellington boots, or even torchlights. So as we continue to ask for food items and ask for monetary support and so on, we also ask for life jackets, we ask for Wellington boots, we ask for torchlights to make their commutes from one side of the flood end to the other side safer, because from what we saw last night, Roland, it was very dangerous, very, very dangerous. There were children trying to cross over. So you can see people crossing over now on your screens, but at night it's so much worse. If you think this is dangerous, well, you should see it at night. In fact, you will not see it because it's too dark and black. And you know that power has totally, there's a total blackout on this side. The electricity is out. So we're going to talk to Achu. Achu, you were with us last night. You took us around last night. What can you tell us about what is happening now? What used to be here at this particular spot we're standing in?
We are facing a lot, because if you see the water, no one on this set will be able to drink this water. Our farms, buildings, everything collapsed. So we are seeking calling for help. We need more things that can make us safe in this town.
What do you need exactly?
Come again.
What are some of the things that you need?
As you said, we need life jackets for one, and also food that we eat, water that we will bath. Because this water you cannot bath. You can't bath. You can't use this water to bath. So we need water, food, and also medical, this clinical that will take care of us.
All right.
And as you see around that, this is the transport point. And actually, before last week or two, this was just a normal area, right? There was no water here. And now it's become a canoe transport point. Okay, so how many people do you and your friends tend to transport daily here? How many people? A
lot of people. Because if you go like the school there, Kizito there, people are there having nothing to do. They are living there because of the fraud. So instead of them to be there, they will be hungry, will catch them. So they have to come here and buy food and go back. So every day, a lot of people cross here and there.
And is there sufficient food from what you know? When they cross over to this side, are they able to bring enough to the other side? Some people have donated food items to you, but we've heard reports that the raw food items like rice, fresh rice, bagged rice, spaghetti and so on is not very useful to you because you cannot cook it. You don't have the utensils and so on to cook it because you're displaced. What can we do, really? Would you prefer that the food that is brought to you is already cooked and so on?
Yes, we prefer something like that because you don't have a place to cook. So if they will cook the food and bring it to us, it will be safe than bringing us the rice for we ourselves to be cooking.
Okay. And about how many people are in the school, do you know?
I can't tell you now.
But can you estimate about, are you more than 1,000?
Yeah, we are more than 1,000.
No, don't worry. Not a scary moment for you. Don't worry. And Vafia, okay.
Okay, I think I'm going to sit down.
Please sit down.
Yes.
Sit down, huh? But you come from Accra. It's a coastline. Why are you worried about water? Anyway, but that's just by the way. When did you start noticing that water started seeping or coming into your homes?
Monday. Bradagbe Jogoma Sesen, Pio Kudagbe, Thursday. Kwakbobi Kasemia Wednesday and Thursday gi opiti eshiko gi opio ko mi don wulenti how before now you know you want to be aton the cover toko ehye ebletao ever na be na no kromite chodo o yo chi home yeta me no mi don wulenti o asho mi bube eketa arugene river la ga ko amo tere chenu ye ko si atade fula that opportunity Kasemia gi opiti eshigele o me yeta mi le kude ne government e bi na premier no gi mi do vivie high elbin ekwem light bill nya mega be na one for the light bill because nemila lenkron nwe mi o legi mi o na ka fi mi o kata mi po light the whole Ghana gak opportunity gat nya no ko bill na America ta bill be 1,000 cedis na mi o kata fi o che chomi eta mi na kudo na government bi na wa pele mi le gun ama sumula e tono na mi enugo
Okay, so Sesi Beturi is saying that they notice water seeping into the communities. And we have to say that these are ordinary communities, like the way you have our premises in Kandao, your community, where you have various neighborhoods within the whole town. It's just a normal community. From Tuesday of the last week, they started noticing that some areas further than here, where we are currently, where they are transporting people in canoes, started witnessing water coming into Mefe, this particular area. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, by the time they wake up on Thursday, the water had reached here. So they had no inclination. And he is advocating that at least something is done about it. Viarito, Pakla Nadmo, Pakla Maga, Plado, Oba, Yo Jakbaba, Yo the Bafa, Name Yontomias. nemianya be echiagbona. Ode gbe family nya.
Ode gbe June me before we have festival vai. Eyi ma me kro na ne kem no jeje ne ma. Ba kasemi anyala no ko va be zede kako ehie va amele kem do nti bi atai ne ma. Yeah.
So I asked him whether they had some level of sensitization, because this is a big justification that formally we're told by NADMO, the National Disaster Management Organization, the Volta River Authority, the various district or municipal security councils, and he does corroborate that the sensitization was done in June. But usually the water will not come towards here. So it means that the water usually will not come here, because this is a normal community. So that's the difficulty they have now.
And I want to find out, when the water started coming in, and at what time of day was it? And how easy was it for them to be able to evacuate completely?
Actually, for that question, I can't answer. As you see the water here, you think maybe if the water starts, it's not coming again, maybe you pray that maybe from December to January, maybe you can live here. Yes.
No, but when it started coming into your homes, do you remember when it started coming into your homes? Did you see it happen? Was it at night?
Yeah, last week Monday.
And how easy was it for the entire community to evacuate completely, to get out and run?
The water, you see, we have some area that is water place before this one come. So as we are seeing now, if the water stop, it can also go into the
those areas. Are they water logged or what? What do you mean by that? Or is it that we have a water body around there?
Yes.
So they usually have places where, maybe in a normal community, where there's always flood or waterlogged areas.
Prone area.
Yeah, so they usually will have that, and then the water will recede after the rains.
Okay.
It's a normal. Okay.
But where's your house?
My house is behind the Royal Bank.
Is your house also submerged?
Yes.
So your house is submerged?
Yes.
Totally?
Total.
How many people live in your house?
We are almost 20.
20 of you live in that house?
Yes.
So all of you are displaced now?
Yes.
Were you able to take anything out of your home?
Yes, we take some.
What have you lost?
For me, I lost my mattress and my TV. Yes.
Your mattress and your TV?
Yes.
Do you live with your nuclear family, or like your
Yes.
wife? You have a wife and children? No. Okay, so where are they now?
I'm sleeping on a house store, Royal Bank there. I'm sleeping on it.
And where are the other 19 people?
There was some the RCGSS and the Kisinto.
And what do you do for a living?
We are managing.
What work do you do before the flood came?
I'm selling.
What do you sell?
I sell tires, a cement, building materials.
So in our local parlance, you are a businessman?
Yes.
And what is your business also on this side?
Now it's not continuing again because the river come, everybody have left their town.
Okay.
Yes.
Now continuing the interaction, whilst I also try to get on to the next.
All right. So basically, we are trying to get a sense of how this very devastating flood has affected the livelihood of the people over here. And we've been talking to Mr. Sesi here and his brother, who have told us about when the flood started, how they have lost everything. Sesi lives with 20 other people, or he lived with 20 other people in his household. Now all 20 of them are displaced. He used to be a businessman, dealing in car tires and so on. Now he has absolutely nothing. And now what you do is you run this canoe, right? So this is your new job. How much do you charge people to commute from this side to the other side?
One cedi.
1 cedi to go and 1 cedi to come. Are there people who can't pay?
Yes.
And what do you do when people can't pay?
We consider them.
Yeah. You also run this canoe?
I don't run this canoe.
All right. He is the business owner. Okay, I think I want to talk to you. I'll come over there in a minute. But about how many people cross over every day?
More than 200 a day.
More than 200 people cross to the other side every day. I see. And
we have a place for RCGSS and the Ajakro George area.
How many points are there?
9.
9 different canoe points to cross over to the various schools where the people are settled. I see. Now, with all the help you are getting, have you been told what will be done practically for you people who live on this side of the community that has been submerged? Do you see the water going down? Have you been told what to expect in the coming days?
Madaku, a share allo lananiaco gala, Malamemiamo, Akbabe, Alam moving la other places say allo lalaje and Yakola.
I do not understand what he said. But can you
okay, so
say some of it? Yeah,
let me do,
you're there. There
just
you are.
Be there.
Awesome.
So basically he's saying that in Kenaglo. Asha Wonka. Okay, so basically what he is saying that since the water seeped into the community, the water has not been receding. But it's because technically or by engineering explanations, the VRA is still spilling water. Yeah, so that's basically what he's saying.
So it hasn't gone down at all, but has it come up?
No.
Mavagio.
Yes.
Last week at Namakola. Yes. So since last week, it's been at the same level.
Yes.
And many of these houses are at the roofing level. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about public health. We've been told that this area has now been declared a public health emergency zone by the Director of Public Health here in the Volta region. Do you see the people getting sick? We've heard about snake bites. We've heard that there are an increased number of snake bites now, and some people have actually lost their lives because of this. Are you aware of this?
Ba edadu amele mise kake hamaku yes then the man who college ma about a week in kene no kata adwe ivi amaku ye gake menye na febe kene share doy ye na bia amele shi tomaku ye edadu amozo ehiem etami na ku de bia ma ona jo ehiem zozo because ehiem o black nele mazo na snake lema alo dale ma akpete jesu etami de ku bi na mi ajo ehiem zozo akpe.
Roland, did you catch that?
Yes. So what he's saying is that it's a very basic health education he wants to undertake. A lot of people are walking through or wading through the water. And that, he believes, alongside his various opinion leaders in the communities, has devastating effects on their health. So the advice he's giving to all the communities that are inundated with water, not only North Tongue or Mefe or the other constituencies, is that they shouldn't be wading or walking through the water. Because you walk on dry land in some aspects of the community, then you come and walk through the water. And so he's cautioning because that has adverse effects on the health.
Did he talk about the snakes?
Okay, so he's saying that when you're walking through the water, there are times that snakes are likely to bite you. So the snakes could bite you and you'll never know because there's a lot of activity that's taking place in the water, and so you may not notice. And so he's cautioning people as a result, apart from the health objectives of the education, to also not to be part of those who tend to walk through the water because they could be bitten by snakes. All right. So now I have interaction to do. Oh, my sister, come here. So, look who you're now. Your camera in here. Comfort Bodo. So she's called Comfort Bodo. Wafiken alone have a fair fiana. Ekaye and one jaw. When did it start? A cheer over Vamia Fafoma.
Maglobe, a jogome jodagbe, blada, gake okudagbe on no speed jeepa, menenya view.
Never speed car.
And not duji.
And not duji. Okay, so she says that, and that's Comfort. So Comfort Podo says the water they noticed in many of the areas in Mafer on Monday. Tuesday, they saw at least some signs of it. By Wednesday, by the time they wake up, it just started filling many areas up to this point. You, John, your other farmer, what did they affect your house? Look over Joy La Farmer.
Novinho na piem ha finye me va edomele town ke yo yombe o ehie gbolo genye mele ha ime be o mele dwom gbo kaka ma de menyenya vi kula enu fofo plita edu enu fofo plita plidu ile fon totro le moto na dwom kpo menyenya vi.
I say okay, so on Wednesday she came to town, but then she got a call that water had inundated her house. Now, what Comfort and her sisters and the other members of the household did was they tried to salvage as many things as they could in the house. But despite all the things or the effort that they put in, all their belongings also got inundated. So they couldn't pick everything. So they are lucky. The water was just at the presence of the house. So magara homo. Okay, so not in the on the compound, but not in their rooms. Over nami, over did you get any help, and who helped you?
Honorable Samuel Kujeto, a convo cover eshi molu amikli suseo gbogbo.
So the member of parliament for the area, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, mobilized a lot of these relief items. So following these relief items coming into the community, a lot of distribution was made. So Comfort Bodo's household also was able to get something. What did you get? In Kemikbo? So you took your mattress, etc. So you got rice, that would be oil and then water. Okay. Comfort, Akbasia. So that's Comfort. Podo speaking to us. We'll have a number of individuals too. And now, if you just can come up, what's your own observation so far about what you're saying?
Roland, you know, when I first came in this morning, I told you that it's one thing to read about this disaster online. It's one thing to watch the videos on social media, but it's a totally different ball game when you come here into the community. There are things that we don't hear about, you know, online or through the news reportage. The way the people feel about this disaster is not, I think, is not accurately reflected in the reportage. People have lost so much. They've lost their lives. There are people who do not think that they would ever recover from this. In fact, even people who are not affected directly by the floods and are on the other side, you cannot breathe freely, really, when you walk into this part of the community.
You mean you can smell the stench?
It smells terrible. In fact, just behind us is a toilet, which has been submerged. So you can imagine what's happening here. The toilet is submerged and we're standing right next to it. You can imagine what's inside of the water. We're told there's a mortuary just down there. There's a hospital. So the pollution, the stench that the people who live in the community have to endure every day is terrible. I'm told the assemblyman is also around, so we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him shortly.
And currently the toilet, as you talked about, I think we should call it a
public place of convenience. Well, it's a toilet.
Public place.
We saw when we got onto the canoes earlier that children and everyone who got onto the canoe, sometimes the water got in and they fetched it out by themselves and with their hands and then just carry on with their day. Do you see what I mean?
The lack
The
of
health
public
risk,
health education.
exactly.
And I think that
sensitization.
the Ghana Medical Association has done well.
Yes.
We need more of other medical professionals who kind of, the physician assistants,
Yes.
the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Council, if they can send more personnel,
Yes.
because education is needed.
Exactly.
We need to be more preventive than curative. And I think
Exactly.
that's why we have a member of the community here. What's your name, sir?
My name is Sifas Brahma Ali.
Mr. Ali, tell us your experiences, candidly, your experiences over the years of any flooding situation as a result of any water spillage, whether it's from the Akosombo Dam or not. Just tell us your candid experiences before we come to the present.
My experience of this, all the flood that is coming on, in fact, it is destroying we the Voltians as we are here, even from the
Okay. Nabi adohogba ha. Azuba manya wadohogba mo na ko yefba ha na do.
Lenye nukoko ma havi enyokata na joa chu blemakan la na panya wonye beke odua boy. Enye ame utado jinu yo ko dua bo na ogbolo na mis nyebe le electricity over vama me hebe mi of voltato amiahe electricity bill. C'est que nous yokata va joa mi le bill un pepepe. Nyate bono no nyebe agbuma gbalagama mi owe laku ame va do enwani e dejesie ma gake nu yokata le jojonfie mi yokata mi le bill han abe ali ame o mo la ku han le hanene.
My translation, yeah. Okay. So basically what he's saying is that we know that the Akosombo Dam was constructed by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah the Osajefo. And he says that based on what he knows and also has been passed on as a communication to the various communities that are along the channels of the Volta Dam, they were promised not to be paying electricity bills. But subsequently, they found out that as the dam and the electricity generation and the distribution was done, they started paying bills. Because they are paying bills, he says essentially they shouldn't have been suffering from the effect of any spillage at all. But there's the reality and what is ideal. Now you can ask your question. English, he's ready to answer as well.
So when you asked the question earlier, I don't know if he captured it in his response.
No. So I wanted to have his experiences. So he said that they'd been experiencing floods. Had you been experiencing floods?
Myself, it came near my roof, but now it stopped.
No, I mean before last week. I mean over the years. Have you had Akosombo Dam spill, and as a result of that coming to your community, have you experienced and seen it before?
Ban achi banto vado 63 ma anyamashi. Meshi afi numa ujota. Kana eshele vavama by then no ma dwa bota. Ele vava bi ale shidodo no normal nene. Gake eke vafie. Melenenio.
Since, is it 63 or 68?
63.
63.
Okay,
so the first spillage happened in 1963, and you said that you were a teenager or something, somebody of the sort. Okay, and you saw it, but it was not of this magnitude. Okay, now
that was the first time there was a spillage, a major spillage. Yeah. In 1963.
63. The second time be that.
That was first the second time.
First time we are not mature.
Okay.
But the second time I was
So you remember?
I experienced how it is.
Were you one of the people who were displaced? Did you have to move because of the spillage the first time?
Yeah, the first time too we moved.
You had to move. Now, after witnessing this, do you think that this spillage is because it is of a similar magnitude as the one that happened in 1963, that the people who live in this community should be permanently relocated to some other place?
Yes. I have a Banto Madre, enye be no wa komi ya dalete pale gaka ginye yo gbronye be wa de me fe duo kata akojo yi ai tu hona mi lesege gaka ma jemie me chichi nwota mi omi gbugbo lage ye kokoko.
Okay. So he said that idea also had been mooted and also communicated to the elders of the Mefa community over the years, the relocation. The proposed location was supposed to have been to Sege, where they will have the relocation of members of the community. And I'm sure at the time, a small number of the population was here, of Mefa to Sege. But the elders of the community or the elders of the town did not agree to that proposal. As a result of that, they've been here since and have been expanding in their residences as we see today.
And after what has happened now, do you think that they would revise their position? They still want to stay here.
Yeah.
So what do you want? You want the water to recede, and then you would move back into your homes, and then the buildings that can be salvaged will be salvaged, and you continue to live here.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Yeah. Mi dibeche ne tonlegi me ga ingogbe unu aga va chomi hu. Ne mi diema.
Why? I mean,
they want it.
They want to continue to stay
living here, and they're hoping once the water recedes, they continue with their lives.
They can continue with their lives. But are you not afraid that this can happen again?
Yeah, we are afraid. Mi ne vovon be atanga va jo. Mi nya nue la iji chota.
They are afraid, but it's still their
still
community.
Want to stay. Okay.
So
right.
we have. So what's your name? Are you the assemblyman?
No.
Okay. Oh, you want to come here? Okay. So how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
My name is Vincent Kosi Logo.
Okay, Mr. Logo. Madofagba. Okay. Ye achia javava mafo pakle toko la fia goji katan. Via reto ogle na mi miesa. Ala ba mare no gblomba juna oda gbefa na mi. There was the public sensitization or the community sensitization by the VRA. Anya ala nyama now.
Yo le nyata fama. VRA tova play assemblyman. Ona mi nyabe ole chef gbeto amoji. Eta amon katan le amotoa. Wa voava yi Saint Kizito. Abe bejinu ne alors toyin ki ova gba enemy. Quand last week monsieur ko va zeka boa. Ko momo katan le ova ji katan chevacho. Ko misagomo. Ne viare to nya be che la va gbajian. Ke jina na mi nya. Bi o che la va mi gbo mi ododo le mi onu onti se okuvana amo le toto be pour le chef beta na le bono wa gbe yo amo kata toto ana va joyi Kizito on ma ko na mi nyama.
Okay, so 3, 4, 5 months ago, the education was undertaken by the Volta River Authority alongside the other organizations where, and I'm sure NADMO, etc., it will be a collaboration. Now, that education said that they will relocate them, or they should use the point of being the St. Kizito area to be the point where they could relocate to if there was any form of spillage or disaster where the water seeped into the community. But then he claims that when the spillage was done for that very week, in terms of the intensity, they were not informed. So he does admit there was education 3, 4, 5 months ago, but it looks like just pre the spillage, they thought that they needed that sort of education.
Have you been personally affected by this?
Yes, sir.
So your house is also submerged?
Yeah, my house is inside the water.
It's behind the water?
Yeah, around this lane.
I'm sorry, sir. Now, how many people live in your household?
We are about 8 people.
You and your who?
Wife,
your wife?
My son, and my
where are they now?
All the family. Yeah, we are scattered.
What do you do for a living, sir?
What
do you work?
Yeah, I'm a driver.
You're a driver?
Yeah.
Okay, so your car is safe?
Yeah, my car is safe.
It's on the other side. Are you able to continue to work?
No. I can't leave my family to go to work.
Okay. Now, there are some relief items that are coming in from various donors.
A lot of things I can.
Have you gotten some of it?
I get.
Is it sufficient?
Pure water.
Pure water. Okay. People on the other side who want to help don't know, are not sure exactly the sort of help they can send. We had some people sent in bags of rice and so on, but it's not possible to cook rice when you don't have a place to stay, or a stove, or even a cooking pot. So if you could advise on exactly the kind of help that you need that would be, more practical to you, what would you say? What do you need right now?
Oh, we didn't rice, toilet road. Printed, you need printed things to come for the people who the water are affected.
Have you been to St. Kizito?
No.
You haven't gone there?
No. Because I'm not near to the Volta River. So me, I did not go to.
You've not gone there?
Yeah, I didn't go there.
All right.
So it means that there are people who are far off from the river bank or the bank of the water body who have been affected. So all these communities, you are not closer to the water body?
We tell them want you.
So they are not close to the lake or the water body.
Okay.
They are not close to it. So we're having several meters, if not maybe 100, 200, 300 meters away from the water bodies, 400 meters, 500 meters within the community who have been inundated, even places that are a bit of a highland. Okay. So that's what he's saying.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Medical services what sort of medical help do you need?
Oh, kachie wale fie, dololo gbogbo chove. Mi to mi poji ana go be sent le godo to eshema. Eta mi hien atiko ofuno le de biso le. Wa natiko na mi kate mi akpola masase.
Okay, so I think it's the same observation that you made by way of how there seemed to be an order that is now plaguing or inundating the community because of the water that has entered the community. They are worried that pregnant women, children, etc. Are also affected. They would need some medical supplies. And on our own, we are saying that some level of education is also needed. Everybody needs to come on board. Mr. Is it
Logo?
Mr. Logo Akpasia. Okay. To be in the middle, come. All right. Now.
All right. What's your name, sir?
I'm Francis.
Francis, were you directly affected by the floods also?
Yeah, though my house has not been overtaken, there was a very serious threat, so I had to flee.
You had to flee your home, even though you were not affected?
Yes, I had to flee.
But are you back home now?
No, please, I'm still at the safe haven where we have been designated to.
At St. Kizito?
No, I am at Presby Primary.
How many of you are there?
The classrooms are 18, and so a number of people are lodging in them. I've not taken...
and what's the arrangement? Men sleep in one room, women sleep in a room, children or families or...
Just families. You come, the households are sleeping in one room, one household in another room.
So if you are not with your family, you would have to join another family?
Yes, when you come and you need space, you just have to...
Are you provided mattresses, pillows?
You come there with your own beddings, everything.
So for those who couldn't leave their homes with their own beddings, what do they do?
You look for a friend, you look for a family member who is somewhere else, you go and lodge there. Because it's not comfortable living in a classroom where you are exposed to mosquito and all that. So people are not comfortable. Yeah, around here, many people are saying that if you are not at Kizito, you do not qualify for any relief item. And it's very, very bad because when, there's an emergency situation like this, people take panic measures. You you run to where there's safety, the closest place for safety. And people have to run to this school over here, others to RC Primary, to DA. And when they bring the aid, they will say, you are going straight to Kizito. And that's unfair.
So you haven't gotten any aid at your school?
We got aid, but it came late because we were sidelined from the very beginning. And so, but me, I'm more interested in the fact that this river, when the dam was going to be constructed, the president at that time, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, realized that it will affect the livelihood of all those who are here, because we were picking clam from the river here, which we call in our language Afali. That was our livelihood. And when they built the dam, to compensate them, you have to give some, you have to either bring some factories over here, or you give scholarships massively to the people, and then you exempt them from paying electricity bill. All these things that were promised our people never came. It is when I came here, I came back teaching in the community, that a very illustrious son of the land went to lobby with a VRA, and they just give us just some 2 or 3 slots of scholarship. So it's like they don't do anything at all. Now, this spillage, they came, somebody was mentioning around June or May, thereabout, there was a simulation exercise. A simulation is just to test the ground, your preparedness during times like this.
Okay.
So when they came, the school children were, we didn't get what actually was it. Then later we were told it's a simulation exercise. A simulation exercise is not the real thing. So you just come and then tell us, in the event of a dam break, in the event of a spillage, how are you supposed to react? And so the people were taught. Let's say, hey, that's just what happened. But this other one, we were just there, and all of a sudden, the place was flooded. Houses, it is very dangerous.
You just woke up a day or two then?
I am living close to Joy Beach. The place is steep down into the river. I believed before this time that even if there was any spillage and it was the volume was so high, it couldn't have risen to that level. But I'm telling you that that steep place into the river has been almost filled, about tipping into my house. And it has crossed to
tipped over your roof, or almost over it?
Almost like because that place on a hilly, it's a hilly.
Okay.
And all the houses, the buildings at that resource center are submerged with trees. So it's a very scary situation. If you are there and you fall into it,
you would die.
You will be gone. So this thing that happened, it's like they didn't care about us. And when people come here, this is just one of the spots.
Yeah.
The Assembly is here.
How many spots are there?
There are so many spots in town where we have these canoes. People are just submerged. The entire town is like now an island. And you can see you see the debris over here. Look at all these things. So in the end, we are going to suffer from other, what do we call it? Communicable diseases. So I'm just pleading with all those who are hearing from us in Murphy that the situation is not as, unless they come on the ground, they come around here, then they will see for themselves.
Yeah.
Even you yourself that are here, you can take the boat, go around and see what has happened. This toilet here is flooded. And this is not the only toilet that is flooded. There are many other toilets that are flooded all over the town. Meanwhile, we were supposed, because if the spillage happened, those who are close to the river, they are supposed to suffer this. But then this thing went, there was a low-lying area when you are going to Dekome, a village on the way, and then it passed through there, entered into all the streams, and there was a spillover effect. And to all the places.
So the whole town, basically.
The whole town.
As we can see in our area show.
Seriously, it's devastating.
Toilets
flooded, refuse dam flooded, cemeteries flooded.
Mosques.
There's no mosques that I know of.
He
all
said
of them.
mortuary, not mosque.
Yeah. Morgue.
Mortuary.
Yeah, no, the mortuaries are the battle, so there's none here. It's very bad. I just want to re-emphasize that all that was promised our parents earlier in building the dam, they should make sure they redeem their promise. the government should redeem the promise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's the Volta River Authority. Invariably the government. What's your name again?
Well, yeah.
I'm Francis.
I've loved your candidness, and thank you very much for this, Francis. Just go behind us. Now, if you can see, there's a house there. Is it the White House?
Yeah.
White House. The White House there, that is inundated. I mean, if this was not the situation we find today, it would just be like you walk into Media General and you see Media General as a building, right?
Yeah, and walk in and
yes,
just
but now a whole house
is totally submerged.
It's totally submerged. We have the owner of that house, the boss of the house, but it's very tall.
Yeah, very tall.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Please come to the middle so Natu can have a conversation with you. Now, we've
Yes,
been sandwiched.
first of all, sorry about what has happened to your house.
And I'm a teacher.
Okay.
That very day I went to school, and the distance from my house to the school is about 70 kilometers. So I go there on moto, and it takes about 45 minutes on moto after crossing the main river. So when I was called that water is coming, before I looked for moto and came back, the whole house is flooded.
So you couldn't take anything from your house?
I couldn't take anything.
Who did you leave at home?
My mother, my aged mother.
Where is she now?
She's at Bato. We are all lodging at Bato.
Who helped her out of the house?
The grandchildren.
Okay.
Our children, yeah.
Sorry about that. And so you couldn't take anything at all from your home? You've lost everything?
I lost everything. My laptops, my TV set, all my documents, my books, everything.
All your belongings?
All my belongings.
So the clothes you're wearing now, where did you get these ones?
Philanthropists donated it.
You got it from donations?
Yes.
I see. What do you need now?
Myself or the house?
What do you need? Yeah, you and your household.
Yeah, we need some mattresses, and then some food items, some clothing.
All right, sir.
You can't even go to school. Your school to...
Has been closed down. Yeah, my school has also been submerged now.
Your school has
been
submerged?
where you teach?
I've primary.
Sorry, sir. What's your name again?
Patrick Asigbe.
Okay, so Mr. Asigbe. Togbui Kosi Aguma.
Second.
The second.
Vavalia.
Avalia.
Togbui Kosi Aguma.
Avalia.
Amaga. Well, sometimes we try to insert a lot of humor into this to make sure that the people go through all the difficulties with some level of not only pain, but also trouble sharing, and that's why we're here. But now, it's been, look, since yesterday we've been going around. We've been to many of the households. We've seen some aerial shots, etc. We know we have to go to the studio for big issues, but just sum it all up for us.
Yes, so we've basically come here to one of the transport sites in Mepe, where the board canoes to go over to St. Kizito, one of the havens where people who have been affected and displaced by the floods are. They've spoken to us about what they need. They need relief items, and even probably most importantly, they need medical supplies and medical help, sensitization and education about how to stay safe during these times. We will go to St. Kizito's to talk to the people who are lodged there, but right now we have to cross over to the studios for big issues.
All right, thank you so much, Nashoko and Roland Walker. They are currently in Mepe in the Volta region, where they've brought us some videos and pictures of the situation on ground. Very dire. And of course, you've heard from the people who are asking for some basic items to survive. It's disheartening what's happening in the Volta region. But just a reminder that the VRA has spoken on this matter, and they're saying that if there should be 2 days of continuous rainfall, the Akosombo Dam could break. And so residents around that area, of course, should expect some more spillage because they cannot afford to have the Akosombo Dam break. If it does that, then of course, electricity generation will also now become a problem. But Media General and 3 Foundation are officially mobilizing supplies, including food items, clothing, and other essentials to support our brothers and our sisters in the Volta region who've been affected by the spillage. We need some items such as food, like I mentioned earlier. If you have school items, whatever item you can provide to support these affected individuals and families, please drop them off here at TV3, and we will donate them to to the residents in these affected communities. There are some numbers for you to call as well. 059-7433-110. Again, 059-7433-110. Or you can send some money to our merchant number 120494 with the merchant name 3 Foundation. Please send in your contributions and let us support all these people who have been displaced. We're going straight into the big issues at this point. But quickly, also remember to play cash out *439#. Remember to play select option 2 and you could win 1,000 Ghana cedis before the end.